According to the Main Intelligence Directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Russia has sufficient missile stockpiles to carry out massive attacks on Ukrainian territory. The aggressor country continuously replenishes its missile resources, causing serious concern. As of mid-May 2025, Russia possessed significant reserves of various types of missiles. Specifically, the missile inventory is as follows: Iskander-M ballistic missiles, about 600 units, Kinzhal hypersonic aeroballistic missiles, over 100 units, Iskander-K cruise missiles, nearly 300 units, X-101 cruise missiles, over 300 units, Kalibr cruise missiles, over 400 units, X-22-32 cruise missiles, up to 300 units, Oniks cruise missiles and Zircon hypersonic anti-ship missiles, 700 units, North Korean KN-23 ballistic missiles, 60 units, surface-to-air guided missiles for S-300P/S-400 systems, about 11,000 units. The Main Intelligence Directorate also emphasized that Russia is capable of producing new missiles within a month, including Iskander-M, 60-70 units, Kinzhal, 10-15 units, Iskander-K, 20-30 units, X-101, 60-70 units, Kalibr, 25-30 units, X-32, up to 10 units, Oniks and Zircon, 20-30 units in total. Earlier reports indicated that the U.S. considers the possibility of a large-scale Russian strike on Ukraine in response to attacks on Russian airfields. Although U.S. intelligence has not yet identified specific targets for such strikes, drone attacks on civilian infrastructure and Ukraine's energy system, as well as ballistic missile bombardments, cannot be ruled out. Now, before these missiles can be launched, Ukraine is planning to destroy the warehouses where they are stored with drones. This is considered possible after Security Service of Ukraine's Spiderweb operation. On June 1, Russia reported drone attacks in 4 regions. According to sources, the Security Service of Ukraine carried out drone strikes against the bomber aviation of the Russian aerospace forces. The attacks targeted military airbases, including Belia in the Irkutsk region, Olynya airfield in the Murmansk region, as well as military airfields in Dyagilevo in the Ryazan region and Ivanova in the Ivanova region of Russia. SBU head Vasil Malyuk reported that the operation damaged 41 aircraft, including A-50, Tu-95, Tu-22M3, and Tu-160 models. Preparation for this operation lasted over a year and a half, and the estimated value of the damaged Russian strategic aircraft is about $7 billion. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte said the U.S. is on the same path as the European Union and its allies in its commitment to make sure the collective brings lasting and durable peace to Ukraine. According to Associated Press, speaking in Brussels ahead of a Ukraine Defense Contact Group meeting, which brings together Ukraine's Western backers to ensure Kiev gets more military aid, Rutte commended U.S. President Donald Trump. "What I think is we really have to commend is the fact that President Trump broke the deadlock, because still January this year there were no direct conversations ongoing between the US and Russia, and I think it was important that Trump did this," Rutte said. "Of course, this is not easy, and we have to make sure that we bring Ukraine to a lasting and durable peace. This is exactly what the US wants, what all the allies want, of course what Ukraine wants." The U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will be absent from the meeting for the first time since the group was set up 3 years ago. He will arrive in Brussels after it's over. Rutte said Hegseth's absence from the meeting should not be interpreted negatively, insisting the U.S. is completely committed to NATO and its joint endeavors with the EU when it comes to Ukraine. There's no reason to doubt that, and whether someone is participating, yes or no, in each meeting, let's not forget, these meetings take place most of the times in Europe, so it will not always be possible for U.S. officials to participate in every meeting, Rutte said. Wednesday's meeting at NATO headquarters is being chaired by the UK and Germany.
What I think is we really have to commend is the fact that President Trump broke the deadlock. Because still January this year there were no direct conversations ongoing between the US and Russia, and I think it was important that Trump did this. Of course this is not easy, and we have to make sure that we bring Ukraine to a lasting and durable peace. This is exactly what the US wants, what all the allies want, of course what Ukraine wants. So Putin should never ever try this again. And that means we have to test him, we have to sit down with him, or at least with his team, discuss, etc. And it is the US taking the lead on this, and I'm really glad that they do that. The US is completely committed to NATO, completely committed to our joint endeavors when it comes to Ukraine. There's no reason to doubt that. And whether someone is participating, yes or no, in each meeting, let's not forget, these meetings take place most of the times in Europe, so it will not always be possible for US officials to participate in every meeting. When it comes, of course, to the events last Sunday, clearly that's for Ukraine, and let's not forget that the capabilities they hit were the capabilities the Russians were using to attack innocent people, going about their daily lives in Ukrainian cities and communities. So I think we really should take note of that. We are always prepared for every eventuality, and Vladimir Putin should know that if he would try, that our reaction will be devastating, and he knows. What we have to make sure of is that it is not only devastating today, but that it will also be devastating and very effective in 3, 5, 7 years from now, and that's why we have to spend more. Thank you.
Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Tuesday that Monday's talks between Russia and Ukraine in Istanbul weren't expected to produce a breakthrough, but noted that some agreements were reached, and the work will continue. According to Associated Press speaking to reporters, he noted that the memorandum that Russia handed to Ukraine on Monday is aimed at removing the root causes of the conflict and set on a trajectory of a stable settlement. Asked about the possibility of a trilateral meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin, US President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Peskov responded that, frankly speaking, it's unlikely in the nearest future. He emphasized that Putin has declared his openness for high-level contacts while underlining that such contacts must come as a result of agreements that have been worked out on a technical level, on an expert level. At talks in Istanbul on Monday, delegations from Russia and Ukraine countries agreed to swap dead and wounded troops. But their terms for ending the conflict remained far apart. Resident in Moscow showed mixed reactions to the talks. Although the negotiations were seen as a positive development, people do not believe that the conflict will end soon. What Ukraine did the other day, you probably understand what I'm talking about. I think it hardly brings closer. On the contrary, it is counting on the fact that someone will, so to speak, go crazy and get up to something, one Moscow resident said. Though Russia has a bigger army and more economic resources than Ukraine, a spectacular Ukrainian drone attack over the weekend damaged or destroyed more than 40 warplanes at air bases deep inside Russia, Ukrainian officials said, touting it as a serious blow to the Kremlin's strategic arsenal and its military prestige. The Russian Defense Ministry acknowledged that the Ukrainian attack set several planes ablaze at 2 air bases but said that the military repelled attempted attacks on 3 other air bases. Both Zelensky and Putin have been eager to show US President Donald Trump that they share his ambition to end the fighting, thereby aiming to avoid possible punitive measures from Washington. Ukraine has accepted a US proposed ceasefire, but the Kremlin effectively rejected it. Putin has made it clear that any peace settlement has to be on his terms.
Почти 400 репортеров со всего мира следили за вторым раундом переговоров делегаций России и Украины в Стамбуле. Итоги вчерашней встречи продолжают обсуждать журналисты и аналитики по обе стороны океана. А договоренность Москвы и Киева по обмену пленными уже поприветствовали в ООН.
Все нацелено на то, чтобы избавиться от первопричин этого конфликта и выйти на траекторию устойчивого регулирования. Конечно, ожидать каких-то сиюминутных решений и прорывов здесь было бы неверно.